Time now for your weekly Royals report. Prince Harry arrived in Canada this week to start his new life with Meghan and their son, Archie.
This came just one day after the Duke of Sussex attended what is likely to be one of his last official royal engagements in London. Come this spring, the couple will no longer be full-time working royals. So with more on all things royal, let's bring in BBC royal correspondent Sarah Campbell. She's joining us from London. So Sarah, the couple quickly had their lawyers issue a legal warning over paparazzi pictures in Canada. And this comes as I think we saw some pictures of Meghan Markle walking her dogs and with baby Archie in a carrier, a little bit askew. Not that I'm judging. I know it's hard to juggle many things when you're a mom. But what's the basis for this sort of legal warning that they issued?
Yeah, it's perhaps not the best start to their trip to Canada, but yeah, basically on Tuesday, news editors over here received a legal letter from the couple's legal law firm Schillings, and it basically referred to those pictures, which had been on several sort of newspaper front pages yesterday. She looks quite happy in the picture. She's, as you say, got the dog, she's got baby Archie, there's a couple of protection officers in the background, but actually this legal letter said these were taken by paparazzi without her consent and that they were hiding in bushes. And if I just read you a section of it, it says, yesterday's incident follows a spate of unacceptable behaviour. These include attempts to photograph them inside their home using long-range lenses, with our clients' movements, every movement being tracked. There are serious safety concerns about how the paparazzi are driving and the risk to life that they pose. And this letter says that legal action on the grounds of harassment will be taken. So, I mean, clearly this is a very early shot across the bows from Harry and Meghan, that they will, I mean, we know that Harry's made no secret of the fact that he feels that there has been a campaign against Meghan. They are taking legal action between them against 3 newspapers here in the UK, and it's looking like those problems, this is another example of that very fraught relationship.
That's really interesting, because I did think when I saw the pictures, well, you're kind of out in public. I don't know. It's not illegal to take photos of you when you're out in public. Now, I didn't know about this other stuff about lenses, trying to take pictures inside the house. That is definitely illegal.
Yeah, for sure. How might stepping down from their senior royal roles affect their case if they do take legal action?
Well, it's a really interesting point. And, you know, there are laws about privacy and harassment, whether you're a member of the royal family or not. And I think Anne-Marie made a really good point there, that these pictures were taken out in public. That is what the paparazzi photographer has spoken about when he's talked about the taking of these pictures. But so that's looking like in that letter, they're talking about harassment on that level. But taking pictures into somebody's home, that's a whole different level. And that would potentially be on privacy grounds. One thing I think is really important to bear in mind in terms of the stepping back. You remember they spent a 6 to 7 week period over the whole of Christmas on Vancouver Island in Canada, and to my knowledge not one picture of them out and about made it into the papers, and that's because there is a sort of unwritten agreement. There is an agreement particularly involving royal children that pictures will not be published in the paper. So it's really interesting that straight after they announced they're stepping back as senior royals, what do you know, some pictures start appearing. It'll be really interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, and you know what else is kind of interesting, because they are in Canada and the rules are a little different. And I find in Europe they're much more sensitive, particularly to pictures of children. You find that children's faces are blurred on UK websites and they're not blurred on US or Canadian websites. So I think that's a whole other sort of can of worms they're going to have to navigate.
Yeah. So what's next for the couple? In their statement, they said that they would uphold the values of the Queen. I think we can all surmise what that means, but what does it really mean?
Yes, so this is the statement you're referring to that was published on Saturday. This is the results of the Sandringham Summit. It was called last Monday between the Queen, Harry, the Prince of Wales and Prince William. So the Queen talked about the fact they'll no longer take public funds. They will step back from all royal duties, including military appointments. We know from a speech that Harry made on Monday, just before he left, rather than Sunday, just to go back to Canada, that they didn't really get the outcome they wanted. I think military appointments with his military background, a particularly sore point. He would have liked to have kept up those associations, but the Queen clearly felt there wasn't any room for a sort of half in, half out position. So it does mean they can go and earn money, they can go and get jobs, and this is a really interesting point, this thing about upholding the Queen's values. What was mentioned to us in briefings was something called the Nolan principle of public life, which they would be expected to uphold. And to give you, there are 7 principles, and they are, very quickly, selflessness, integrity, objectivity, accountability, openness, honesty, and leadership. So those are the 7 principles they are going to be expected to uphold in their business dealings, whatever they might be.
That's interesting. You know what I think is going to be a dicey one? Objectivity. Because, you know, I think both of them, but certainly Meghan has been used to sort of voicing her opinion on issues. Some of them, you know, might be what we might not consider controversial, but for the royal family, it's an area that they don't wade into.
Right, for sure.
Wow. Sarah Campbell, thank you so much.